Hey, so let me ask you something. Have you ever walked into a room and just felt someone before they even spoke? Like, there's this one person, and without doing anything dramatic, without being the loudest or the most senior, everybody just notices them. There is something about the way they carry themselves, the way they speak, the way they make you feel like whatever they're saying is actually matters. Yeah, that is executive presence. And today we're going to break down exactly what it is, why it matters more than most people realize, and how it can genuinely change the trajectory of your career. Let's understand what is executive presence. So, first things first, what does executive presence actually mean? A lot of people think it means being loud or super confident or wearing expensive clothes. Well, it's not that. Executive presence is basically how much do people trust you, believe in you, and want to follow you based on how you show up. It is a combination of how you look, how you speak, and how you make others feel in professional setting. Think of it as the answer to this question that people are silently asking about you every single day at work. Does this person have what it takes? Executive presence is your answer to that question without saying a word. Let me give you a real example. Picture this. Two managers are presenting a project update to senior leadership. The numbers are similar. The work they've done is roughly the same quality. Manager A walks in, shuffles through papers, says about 15 times, keeps looking down at notes, and wraps up with, so yeah, I think it went okay, hopefully. Manager B walks in. He makes eye contact, speaks clearly and calmly, owns the room without being aggressive, and ends with, we hit our targets, here's what we learned, and here is exactly where we're headed next. Same data, completely different experience. Now, here is the uncomfortable truth. Leadership remembers Manager B. They probably don't even fully remember what Manager B said, but they remember how they felt listening to Manager B. And that feeling, that's executive presence doing its job. Okay, so let's talk about how executive presence actually affects different parts of your professional life, starting with your image. Now, I just don't mean your outfit. Although, yes, showing up put together does matter. Professional image is really about consistency. It's about whether people can predict that you will always show up prepared, composed, and reliable. When you have executive presence, people start associating your name with credibility. Before you've even spoken in a meeting, people are genuinely leaning in slightly because your track record of showing up well has built trust over time. And in the workplace, trust is currency. The more you have, the more opportunities come your way. Now, let's talk about communication and confidence. Executive presence is not about having a big booming voice or using fancy vocabulary. It's about clarity. It's about saying what you mean, meaning what you say, and not shrinking when the room gets uncomfortable. Here's a small thing that makes a massive difference. Filter words like like, we all use them. But when someone overuses them, it signals nervousness and uncertainty. And people unconsciously read that as a lack of confidence, even when the person is actually brilliant. Confident communication also means being comfortable with silence, pausing before you answer a tough question instead of rushing to fill the gap. That pause actually makes you look more thoughtful, not less prepared. And here's the fun part, you don't have to feel confident to communicate confidently. And skill comes first, the feeling follows. Let's talk about how executive presence shapes the way people see you as a leader. Here's something interesting. People decide whether they see you as a leader very quickly, way before your job title says so. They're watching how you handle pressure, how you treat people when things go wrong, whether you take up space in a room or make yourself small. Executive presence tells people this person is someone I can follow. This person will not fall apart when things get difficult. And in a workplace context, this matters enormously. You can be the hardest working person on the team. You can have the best ideas, but if you don't project leadership energy, those ideas often go unnoticed, or worse, someone else with more presence gets credit for the direction you pointed everyone in. This is frustrating, and it happens more than people like to admit. And this brings me to the last point, career growth. Research consistently shows that executive presence is one of the top factors that senior leaders look for when deciding who gets promoted into leadership roles. Not just performance, not just qualifications, presence. Think about it from a leadership perspective. If you're choosing someone to represent your team in front of clients, to lead a high stakes project, to speak up to the board, you are going to choose the person who inspires confidence, the person who makes others feel that things are in good hands. Executive presence is essentially your personal brand at work. And just like any brand, it takes time to build, But once it's there, it opens doors that pure hard work alone sometimes cannot. The good news, it is completely learnable. Nobody is born with it. Every polished, composed, inspiring leader you admire worked on this deliberately. So, to wrap this up, executive presence is not about being perfect or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about showing up intentionally, speaking with clarity, carrying yourself in a way that tells the room, I belong here, I am prepared, and I am someone worth listening to. Start small. Work on one thing at a time. Maybe it's reducing filler words. Maybe it's making better eye contact. Maybe it's simply standing a little taller when you walk into a meeting. Small shifts, consistent practice, big difference over time. Thank you for watching and go own that room. Thank you.